Today we are going to be ranking every notable Squid Game character seasons 1 through 3. Let me know if any should have been added to this list, but I mostly did stuff that was notable and not counting certain characters. I just don't think there was a lot, like there wasn't enough to them really. Like you couldn't do much, so we're gonna start right off the bat with not wasting any more time because there's a lot of characters to get through. Of course, we have S through D, so S, A, B, C, and D tier. Of course, we're gonna start with Jung Bae, one of Gi-eun's best friends that even appeared in season 1. I feel like people might forget that he appeared at the very beginning, and we didn't see him again until season 2. And we unfortunately know the way that he died. And by the way, obviously, spoiler warning. You know that I'm gonna probably get into a lot of spoilers just like talking about some of these characters, maybe their fates or like what they went through and stuff. So just spoiler warning in case you haven't seen season 3 yet, but I imagine you probably did, but who knows, just in case. Anyway, Jung Bae, I really liked his character. I think he was very loyal, and I think he added something just really nice, especially to season 2. I'm glad that they built on him off of season 1 since we didn't see him too much in season 1. It was really awesome to see him involved in the games, like since season 2 already had to introduce so many new characters because that's just the nature of Squid Game. I'm glad that they were able to incorporate someone that has technically been around since the beginning again. So we'll put him in A tier. I don't think he's like, I wouldn't say he's S tier because I want to save that for only like a certain couple of characters, but he's definitely A tier. He's a great character in my opinion. Wish he was around for season 3. Next we have Jun Hoe, the pregnant woman, player 222. She really played a part in season 3. Like her and her baby played a huge part in season 3, damn near just changing the trajectory of how that story went. As an individual character, I like her. I don't think she's as amazing as some other people think, but this is all my opinion. I really like her character. I just don't think she's like one of the best out there. She's just like the second tier to me, but she has a really interesting backstory. But I don't know, I don't vibe with her to the level of some people do, but she's an amazing character still, and I loved her arc, honestly. I really loved her arc, and her in season 2 was great. Season 3 probably better, and I think she's a solid A tier character still. I probably am gonna put her behind Jung Bae though, and just warning, I might call some of these characters by their player number, or I'll just badly mispronounce their name, or I'll just forget their name, so just keep that in mind. But I do know Jun Hoe and Jung Bae so far, so we're making some progress there. Next we have the mother of the son, which we're gonna get to right after her. I don't know her name by heart, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be calling her player 149. Her arc was pretty sad, but it was expected. They actually foreshadowed it in season 2. She literally told her son that if he died, she wouldn't have a reason to live, and sure enough, her son died, albeit though, she did technically kill her own son, but you need a lot of context for that, and she hung herself before the other game was going to take place. But she was a great character. She added a lot. Honestly, she added some comedic moments too in season 2. She was a character that made something of her own. I'm just gonna say it right here, spoiler alert, before we get to her son. I like her more than her son, and honestly, I'm struggling between A and B. I don't know if I want to put her as high as B, but no, okay, I'll do it. She was such an interesting character, and she brought a lot. I'm gonna put her in A tier, but behind Jun Hoe, I would say. I put her behind Jun Hoe. Next, of course, we have her son, player 7. I'll be honest, I don't know, I didn't really vibe with him. Like, he was not a bad character or anything. Like I said, I prefer the mom over the son. He kind of went out in kind of a wimpy way, to be honest, like trying to kill the pregnant woman. Well, she wasn't pregnant anymore, but trying to kill her when she was having the baby, the newborn in her hands. I know he had to, but like, you had the opportunity to kill someone before that and you couldn't. Now all of a sudden you're getting the courage to. I understand it and all. I didn't really like his, I didn't really vibe with his character too much, not as some as other characters. And I just think he kind of had a wrong way in life, to be honest. Like, he was there, cool. he was still a nice character to include. Like, the mother and son dynamic was so intense, just knowing that they were both in this deadly Squid Game. But I think he's a solid B character. I'm not going to put him any lower than that, but he just about misses the mark for me in terms of going any higher than B. Next, we have Hanjo. I hope I pronounced her name right. This is one of my favorite characters in the entire show, and I honestly did not, I'm gonna hold my hands up, I did not think I was gonna think that way going into season 2. Let me just say this. I'm glad they made her a character outside of, what her gender is and stuff. Like, they made that, but then they built on it and just made her own, like, badass individual, and I loved it. I wish that she survived longer than she did. It was so sad that the way that she died so early on in season 3. I understand it though. You basically can say they killed her because they knew she was too powerful, and so they had to give her a very cheap out way of death, because no one was gonna beat her with 1v1 Mortal Kombat. She had to have been snuck up on by a certain character that we're gonna get to. But I'm just gonna say this is an S tier character for me. I loved her so much. She absolutely killed every scene that she was in. In the shootout, she absolutely carried. And every single scene she's in, it's just so investing to me. I loved it. I just, wish she could have survived a little bit longer. Even though most of these characters, especially the players, them dying was kind of their fate from the start. Here we have the father of the daughter, the one that the Guard 11 was trying to save. So player 246. I don't know his name by heart, unfortunately, so I'm gonna call him player 246. We all knew he was alive, right? After season 2's ending, they cut away from that way too soon, so we all likely theorized that, yeah, he's alive. And let's just say, I'm so glad he actually survived this show. He's technically the only player from the start of season 2 that survived, if you want to count the baby, but it wasn't technically born yet. So from start to finish, he's the only player that survived. And some of you are going to say Inho, he wasn't a player at the start, he only joined in after red light green light. So yeah, big up to the dad here. I absolutely loved his character. So nice and so sweet and stuff. I don't know if I want to put him S tier though, honestly. Maybe I'm not going to put him all the way up in S tier, but he was a really solid character. I liked him a lot. He's going somewhere in A tier. You know what? This might be my first kind of weird take. I'm probably going to put him... It's either behind or in front of Jungbei. I am going to put him in front of Jenny and the mom, player 149. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put him... I'll put him behind Jungbei. How about that? I'll put him behind Jungbei. I feel like it's a nice spot. Next we have Ho. Now I'm just gonna cat out the bag. I did not like the way they handled his character in season 3. I don't mind that he died in kind of the way that he did, I guess. Just kind of the build up to it. I feel like in season 2 he was much more just happy go getting, kind of a nervous, I didn't like too how they tried to admit that, oh, I never served in the military, although I have heard that the English translation messed that up, and he was in the military, but special services, which is an alternative for men serving in Korean military. It's an alternative for them if they aren't fit for it, right? But I have to give him some knocks because I just don't think they did his character well in season 3. I do like him. I liked him more in season 2 than I did in 3, to be honest. I think 3 just kind of felt weird a little bit. And for that, I'm going to put him in B, but I will put him above the sun. I will put his character above the sun, but I do think he's still just kind of misunderstood. I do think people disrespect him. I know I'm putting him in B, but I do still think he's disrespected. Like I said, it was season 3, it just kind of knocked him a little bit for me. Next we have the main character himself, Song Gi-eun. I definitely know how to say his name. I mean, he's the main character. This guy, let me just say it, no one's going above him in the tier list. I'm putting him immediately in S tier, and he will be at the front of S tier. By far the best character in this entire show. His arc from start to finish was beautiful. His ending, I think, is probably now one of my favorite endings of any character. The lines, it was perfect. The scenery, the visual, it was perfect. It was just beautiful, the way that he went out. I didn't want him to go out, obviously, but if he had to, that was one of the best ways that he could have, sacrificing himself to keep his promise of making sure that Junhee's baby lives a good life. And he also had to prove a point to the front man that he was wrong. And I just think the way that he went out was so devastating but so emotionally brilliant. And his entire journey, this guy deserved to be the main character. I'm so glad that he was the main character. He absolutely deserved it. He had so much depth to his character, like so much depth that like even when like a year from now, beyond years from now, we're still going to be dissecting this character and just assessing all of his flaws and his pros and cons of like of a physical human being. It was brilliant. Next we have the finalist that he 1v1 basically in the Sky Squid game. On the final step you have, I think his name is Myungi, but he is player 333. He is not only the finalist, or one of the finalists, he was the father of Junhee's baby. And I'm just gonna tell you something about him, okay? I had some hope for him off of season 2. I thought he had some redeeming qualities. I can see that he was trying to be a good person, and honestly, obviously had to be a good father once the baby was born. But I think season 3, after Junhee's death, I feel like that's just snapped something inside of him, and that's when he just became psychotic. He became an absolute maniac. And he's a villain at the end of the day. I don't think he's someone I defend personally. It just comes down to whether you truly think he was trying to protect him and the baby, or if he was just trying to like protect himself and make money for himself. I'm still watching and I'm still kind of conflicted, honestly. It's so hard to read, but that's like the brilliance of his character. I think this is one of the best characters that they've introduced after season 1. I've seen a lot of people compare him to Song-woo. I think, me personally, I just think that's disrespectful to Song-woo. Do not disrespect Song-woo like that. He's a completely different story to Myungi, but he, in my opinion, turned out to be a piece of shit. And yeah, he's just not a good person. He's an absolute villain. But that's not saying I'm not going to put him down on the character tier list. He's a borderline S tier character, but you know what? Just because he could have had a little bit more like going in his way, despite being so much of a like just conflicting character, I'll put him in A tier. And in terms of character, you know what? I'm gonna put him right above Junhee. Just in terms of character, I feel like there was more to him, a little more depth to his character than Junhee. So I will put him behind Junhee. You know what? I'm also gonna put him in front of the father. And Jung-bae. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. He's an A tier, going right above Jung-bae. Like I said, this isn't exactly like, this is both like, yeah, my preferences, like, oh, I love this character, but also like you can acknowledge that a character is an awful person, but like they're still just a very well written character. So that's why they go behind the tier. So that's why you see Myungi in A tier. I'm not gonna put him in S tier though. Will not put him in S tier. And two things: he killed my girl Hanjo. Piece of shit for that, but he killed player 100, so maybe that cancels it out. You know, good for him. Next we have, as Thanos would say, Minsu, right? And I love this guy. Minsu was a great character. I know people didn't like that he resorted to the drugs. It wasn't great, but like I think he added quite a bit to season 3. In season 2, obviously he was just that kind of shy person, didn't talk much, so there wasn't really much going to him. Like, it's understandable if someone doesn't vibe with him, because like he can't even vibe with himself. Maybe he's high B for me, or like low A. He's gonna be either in front or behind of Ho, in my opinion. I think after season 3, I'm gonna put him behind Ho. I think he's a solid B tier character. I really like his character, but yeah, maybe this could have been a little more to him. I wanted to see a very ruthless arc, but like maybe outside of the drugs, but the drugs was a really cool concept to introduce him to. I mean, all the hallucinations were crazy though, and I'm kind of glad that he somewhat stuck up for himself, you know? Really nice. And he was a finalist, you gotta give him that. I honestly can't believe that guy became a finalist, but he did. I know it was probably the pills, but still, man, great character, Minsu. Let me get into this guy. This guy, I still think is the most underrated character in the show, when he wasn't even in season 1. His name might be like Choi Seok or something like that. He's basically the friend of the loan shark that died, obviously at the hands of the salesman. And then he went to help Jun Hoe search the island. And let me just say, he turned out to be a better detective than the detective himself. He was goated, especially in season 3. I thought he was underrated going like off the back of season 2. I hope season 3 people actually give him his flowers. And he's, I love him. I don't know what's about him, because he's like, obviously he's a side character, but like he gives off such a good vibe. He brought a lot of good moments. And like I said, he was probably the only like serious person a part of that boat crew. He was probably the smartest person in terms of finding that damn island. I don't know about A tier, but I'm definitely putting him like high A tier. Like, this guy needs more respect. Put respect on his name, bro. I'm gonna put him above Myung-gi too. I probably will. Yeah, I love this guy. I'm so glad he made it out alive too. Man had to spend 6 months in jail, but you know what? That was probably still a better fate than all the people in the Squid Games. Next you have, I don't know her name by heart. It might be like Yeonyi or something, or Yamya Uni or something like that. Depends on how you want to pronounce it, but this was someone who befriended Hanjo, player 120, in season 2. Unfortunately, she did die in the Mingle game, which was really unfortunate. I'll be honest though, I didn't really see much of her character. She just felt kind of there, someone to put a sympathy card. She also too just felt like a character you can kill off to early to keep the tensions, but also like she just wasn't really that important or like not that meaningful compared to other characters. I'll just be honest with you guys, I didn't vibe with her all that much, but she's not a bad character or anything, obviously, but I just didn't really vibe with her. And when she died, like, it was sad, but, you know, she just was, you know, she's just kind of there for a little bit. Didn't last too long, of course. Probably gonna put her in C tier, which is the first C tier, but we're probably gonna get worse than her, don't worry. Next, we have Jun Hoe. I loved him in season 1. I don't know what happened. It might have been that coma, but some of his detective skills just fell off. Basically, it fell off hard. I got so annoyed at him, especially in season 3 when he didn't even suspect the fisherman. That was weird. Like, I mean, even if you don't want to believe it, at least keep your suspicions, bro. You're a detective. That's your job. Half of your job being a detective is basically to like always raise your suspicions no matter what. You know, look over your shoulder. Okay, I'm not putting him in C tier, that was by accident. But I really like his character. I still think he's underrated, but like I understand why people are like so annoyed by him at this point. And even when he got to the island, I just expected more from him, honestly. I feel like even his whole plot line all the way back from season 2, I wanted more of a payoff to that. And we got one. I'm glad he's still alive, but just, I don't know, probably could have had a better payoff. And like I said, he literally got outshined by Choi Seok, I think is his name, this guy right here that I'm hovering over him as we speak. He's a great character. I'm still gonna put him in A and all, don't get me wrong, but like I'm just saying, I completely understand people's gripes with him. At least he kind of came through a little bit, but yeah. Because of season 2 and 3 specifically, if we were just going off of season 1, this guy would be an S tier character, but unfortunately season 2 kind of was the start of him falling off a little bit. I'm gonna put him in A tier. I'm still gonna put him high in A tier, honestly. I'm probably gonna put him like right before Myung-gi. I really liked his character. He's one that went through all 3 seasons. It is quite rare to see a Squid Game character, you know, through all 3 seasons, and he stayed alive in the end, which was really nice. I was glad about that. This is weird, because I'm saying he's disrespected, but also like I kind of understand people's gripes with him. I just don't think the gripes are that much to put him down any more than that. So he goes in A tier. Next we got Say Me. This was the character that really had a close tie to Minsu and also was a part of the group of Thanos and Yamgyu, who we'll get to in a minute. She had a very sad death. Obviously she died in the lights out version of season 2, and I mean, again, maybe she was just kind of there. She just didn't last too long, unfortunately. I would probably put her in B tier because I do think she had nice morals. You know, she was always trying to help Minsu, even though Minsu kind of like betrayed her in Mingle, which I didn't agree with him on that. That was where, you know, like Minsu, bro, like come on. I'll probably put her in the same tier as Minsu. Actually, I might even put her like, I'll put her like right behind Minsu. Yeah, so Seimi right after Minsu. It was actually crazy too when Minsu kept hallucinating her all throughout season 3. You can tell he had so much guilt about that. But yeah, she's a fine character. Nothing more, nothing less. But I do wish we got more of her, honestly. Next we have, oh my god, we have Guard 11, guys. Noelle is one of my favorite characters in the entire show. She might be my favorite character of season 3, like the favorite above anyone else. I didn't even know how to feel about her off the back of season 2, but season 3, oh yeah, she's the real deal. She was absolutely the real deal. She was so amazing. I loved every scene that she was in. Every single time she came on my screen, I was so invested in her storyline. It was amazing. I'm so glad that she survived too. She successfully helped the father back to his daughter and stuff, so both of them made it out alive. That's amazing. I'm gonna say it, she's an S tier character. I loved her so much. I almost wish that she was around for season 1. Like, she was that good. She was amazing in season 3. I can go and watch all her scenes all over again and not get bored. Like, she kicked ass, man. She was absolutely amazing. She is one of my favorite characters in this entire show. Honestly, she might be, I don't know if she's top 5, but she might be a contender for that. I'm being so real. I don't know whether to put her behind Hanjo or not. But, you know what? I'm gonna probably put her, it's so tough, I don't know what to do. Okay, gut instinct, I'm gonna put her right in front of Hanjo, just for now. But those two are like so close to me, they're so close. Next we have, the Shaman Lady. Yeah, this will be my first D tier character. She was so annoying. So glad that she died. Thank you, by the way, Minsu. I should have actually mentioned that for you. Thank you for killing off the Shaman Lady. You did a very nice act of God, you know? Respect to that. Respect you for that. The Shaman Lady was just crazy, although she did foreshadow a hell of a lot of things in this show. Like, she was just kind of just... Honestly, she was just crazy. She was absolutely crazy. She was really... I know her points to be annoying, but, like, you can be a bad character but still be well written. It's not like, obviously she was written for that specific purpose, but yeah, nothing more to her. Same with this guy, although I will say he will still go above the Shaman Lady, but I'm also putting him in D. This guy talks so much shit for someone with the most debt from any player there. Bro owed 10 billion won. That is insane. I can't believe this guy even lasted as long as he did. I was so mad when he did not die in the jump rope game, because I thought that was the one where he was gonna get the axe, and he didn't, and I'm like, damn it, how's this guy a finalist? This guy made it so long. The director's doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose and they know it. I will admit, sometimes in season 3 he was a little bit funny, but still, oh my god, this guy lasted way too long. Way too long, man. Yeah, he's going in D tier, but he will go above the Shaman Lady just on the basis that I think he's slightly more, like, funnier. But that's it. That is it. That is it. I don't even want to talk about him again. Next, we got Thanos. I don't even know where to start with Thanos, to be honest, because this might be the character that gets glazed the most out of any character. I honestly think he's slightly overrated, because I know some people are going to be like, put him in S tier. Oh my god. He's a great character. I'm going to put him in A tier, because he brought so much to the show. He's not S tier, though. I'm probably going to put him... I'm going to put him at the end of A tier, honestly. Because he was so fun. He brought so much good energy to the show, and like I had the biggest love-hate relationship with Thanos. I thought I was gonna hate him more, honestly. Like going into season 2, I thought he was almost gonna be like a new Doksu from season 1. He didn't turn out that way, but he didn't turn out like amazing either. But I just can't ignore how much of a good vibe he brought to the show. He was amazing. Like, come on, it's Thanos. I can't disrespect him that much, but I have to acknowledge he's not one of the best, you know? So the Glazers out there, just, yeah, hold off a little bit. I'm putting him in A tier, though. I hope you're happy. Oh, man, Thanos was such a vibe. Oh, I was really glad to see his cameo in Season 3. Here we have the Salesman. Another A tier character, in my opinion, even though he had very little screen time, because he got killed at the very start of Season 2, and he wasn't really in Season 1, obviously, because he wasn't a part of the games. He was just the recruiter, but this guy was a straight-up psychopath. Season 2, my word. I'm glad Season 2 brought a lot of closure to his character, added some lore to him as well, but he was just, like, such an interesting character. Like I said, true psychopath, and I just feel like he's one of those characters where he just steals every scene that he's in, and any character that does that, automatically has to like go a little higher in tier list. I'll put him in A. Probably like, I'm gonna put him like maybe a little higher up, maybe like, and I'll put him behind Jung Bae. How about that? In front of the father, but behind Jung Bae. Because again, he's another character that people glaze, but I do understand his glazing. Kind of like I do understand Thanos's a little bit, but yeah, the salesman was just insane, but like, damn, he stole every scene he was in. What a character. Next, we have Inho. This guy has to be an S tier. I might put him as the second best character in the show in terms of just writing, right behind Song Gi-yeon. He was, especially in season 2, I don't think he would have been this high if we only just saw him as the frontman. We saw like a humanized version of him, especially in season 2, a little bit in 3, kind of. And he's just such a well-written character. Like him and Gi-hun, they parallel each other so much. It's like they're the opposites of each other. I loved seeing that go down. I was a little underwhelmed, to be honest, with like the reaction of Gi-hun. Like, I don't mind the reaction, but like the aftermath of it, I don't know. I thought there would be a little more going on there once he realized that the frontman was Inho, which he knew as Young Il, obviously. But what a character. I hope he returns in the spin-off that's gonna happen. He did make it alive out of the show. I thought honestly he was gonna die. I was kind of surprised he lived, but yeah, not all shows are gonna like, you know, kill off the main villain, you know? This guy is such a well-written character. You could go so many hours in depth just dissecting his character. It is brilliant. I loved his inclusion in the show. He was amazing. And like to this day, he has to be considered as one of the best Squid Game characters, and he is probably the second best. He has to be an immediate S tier. Like, you can't not put him in S tier. He's such a well-written, flawed, but like just perspective character, if that makes sense. Next we have this guy. I'm gonna call it a buck. I don't remember his name, but he was like the officer. He kind of was like the stand-in when the frontman obviously went into the games in season 2. He was wearing the black mask. He had the conflict with Noel, Guard 11. They had the showdown in season 3, which was great. I don't really know what else to say about him, because like he was there, but he didn't really do, like, obviously he was threatening. He was a threat. He was an obstacle, but I just don't think he has much depth to him compared to others. Like, he's just there to be a threat, basically. But I still think he did fine, you know? He was there, cool. Like, I'm gonna keep saying that. Probably gonna put him in B tier somewhere, but I probably would even put him behind some of these characters. You know, I just feel like there's better villains of the show for sure. I'm actually gonna put him behind the Sun, like, very low in B tier. Next we have Namgyu. I did not like this guy at all in season 2, but season 3, for some reason, like, I didn't hate him. Like, yeah, he was a psychopath, but like, I feel like he was more funnier without Thanos, honestly. He kind of came into his own more, not being like Thanos' right-hand man the whole time, but I'm gonna put him in B, but like high B, probably. He was a nice character in season 3, like I said. Like, he brought something to that season 2, and before everything just became just pure depression. I'm gonna put him after Minsu, probably. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll put him after Minsu. I feel like that's fine. Yeah, sure. I'll put him there. I might reconsider, though. Put him, like, higher in B, but whatever. Doksu. I'm also gonna put him as a B tier character. He was such an insane threat. Like, this guy might be one of the most threatening players from any of the seasons. This guy was just a straight menace. I don't know what other way to put it. And his death was kind of satisfying, but like, damn, bro. This guy, if he was in season 2, if he was in the Keys and Knives game, oh, it's over. If he was a red player on the Keys and Knives game, the blue team might as well just kill themselves before they even walk into that arena. Yeah, he was a nice character. He served his purpose, but like, again, he's just more of like just there to be a threat, not like exactly a villain threat, but like with so much depth to them. So I'm gonna put him in B tier, probably in front of this guy though, and also in front of the Sun, also in front of Seimi. I probably wouldn't say above Namgyu though. I'll probably put him like behind Namgyu, right there. Next we have this lady. She was crazy. She was crazy. But like, she did have a little more depth to her than both of these guys. I'll probably put her in low C. She just, no, she was crazy. But she added something to season 1 too with all her antics. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about her. She was a little annoying at parts, though. I'll be honest. Oh, here we have the best woman in this entire show, Sae-byuk. Oh my goodness, I love her so much. She's going above Noelle and Hanjo in S tier. I loved her character. I was so happy when she got the visual cameo in season 3. I'm like, oh my god, she's back. My woman is back on my screen. I was like, I know, but it's true. It's completely true. Oh, she was one of the best characters. I was so sad when she died, but like, I'm glad they carried her on throughout the show. We saw how her brother was doing, and spoiler alert, we saw the mother of Sae-byuk at the very end of season 3. That was amazing. I love Sae-byuk. She was so, like, she was a badass, man. She was absolutely badass. And, like, she's one of those characters that just steals every scene that she's in. She's well written. She has so much depth. I loved her, man. I loved her. I can't say that enough. So I'm just not gonna say it. We have to move on, but S tier character for sure. But definitely behind Gi-hun and Inho, because like I said, those two just have to be number 1, number 2. Next we have Il-nam, probably the biggest villain in the entire show in terms of he created the games. We just don't have enough of his backstory. I feel like that's something a prequel series needs to tackle. The backstory of Il-nam. Obviously he died at the end of season 1. I don't know, I'll probably put him in B, maybe even like low A, because like he has a lot of backstory to him, but it's just not ones that we know about. But I feel like Inho is like just a much better version of a threat, you know? I'm probably gonna put him in, I don't know, probably gonna put him in B somewhere, because he's a nice written character. We just don't know much about his like true threats and intentions. But I'll probably put him like, we'll put him high B. I'll put some respect on him being like an imposter and stuff, and playing it right in season 1, all that stuff. Next we have, I don't remember her name, I'll be honest, but she was someone who befriended Sae-byuk in season 1. Played the marble game with her and unfortunately bit the dust. But again, I'll be honest, she's just not a character that ever did it for me. She was just kind of there, served a purpose to just, you know, be killed off and keep the stakes going while not killing off someone that people actually have an attachment to too quick. But like I said, I just didn't vibe with the character. I'm just being so real. I'm being as real as I can. But I do think she was a little more interesting than these two right here. I'll put her in like C, I guess. Yeah, high C, why not? Ali. Oh, my poor Ali, man. My poor Ali. This is... he had maybe one of the saddest deaths in the entire show, but he was really naive. Like, his death was expected. I didn't want it to go out like that, though, for sure. I'm probably gonna put him high A. Like, this guy was such a good character in the show, but I might put him right behind Jun Hoe and Choi Seok. So he's gonna go right in front of Myung-gi. I feel like Ali to this day, very underrated character in the show. Obviously, yeah, just his death was so devastating, but I liked his character. It was cool to see you know, an Indian character in the Squid Games, like, you know, spruce it up, nice diversity. Next we have Song-woo, in my opinion, probably one of the most complex characters of the show. I think he's the most complex character of the show outside of Gi-hun and Inho. I am putting him in immediate S tier, and he's going right behind both of them for sure. I will defend Song-woo. I'm not saying he's like every action is excusable, but I think majority of them are kind of like justified in the context, like in his shoes. I'm thinking of it as in his shoes, and I don't want to see anyone compare him to 333 because they are completely different stories. I need to see it for myself, but I would like for someone out there to make a video on that. But yeah, you also have, there's so much of Song-woo. The fact that he got killed off in season 1 and then like all these seasons later, seasons 2 and 3, that is still one of my favorites. This guy was a goated character. He's an absolute S tier. And I'm afraid that if you don't like him, I just don't think you understand him. No, next we have the Doctor. Looks very similar to Song-woo now that I think about it, but this is the guy that got secret privileges in season 1 because he could dissect the organs that the guards were doing behind the front man's back and all that stuff. Yeah, he's fine. He's like a whatever character to me. Probably like C tier, maybe. Like high C tier. I'll be honest, like, he didn't do much for me, but he was an interesting character and all, but yeah, just kind of was there, I guess. He's a fine character, but I wouldn't think anything more of him, honestly. Next we have the Loan Shark. Let's not forget the way this guy was acting in season 1. Man switched up real quick when not only did Gi-hun like pay off his debts, but then he hired him as his boss. But he had a very nice way of going out. Like, he did redeem himself. He became a lot more, I guess, just nicer. But that, again, that could have just been because of the money. Who knows? But I'm not going to forget how he was in season 1. But he did change a little bit in season 2 right before his death. But we just didn't see enough of him, in my opinion. I'm also going to probably put him in C tier. But before the Doctor. Let's do that. Yeah, before the Doctor. Here we have Captain Park, obviously the traitor of the boat crew. He was working with Inho, and I don't know where to put him, honestly. Like, he's a good villain in my opinion. He was a nice villain, a nice antagonist character. I'll probably put him in B tier. I would say in front of the Sun, in front of this officer guy. You know what? Let's put him like behind Nam-gyu. Let's say that. Yeah, I'll put him behind Nam-gyu. Interesting character. I'm glad that Jun Hoe took care of business with him for sure. But yeah. Drop my camera, my goodness. Anyway, yeah, it was fine, Next we have, what was his name, like General Kim? Underrated character, honestly. I just kind of wish he spoke a little bit more, because it's like, yeah, I'm glad he survived too. He actually survived, like, good on him. Probably gonna put him like C, because like, again, there's not too much to him. Like, I think there could have been. Probably could have gone a little bit more in depth. Maybe he had like more scenes or something, but yeah, he was still there helping Jun Hoe all the way to the end of finding that island. But he'll go in high C for me. I'll say that. He'll go in high C. Here we have Gi-hun's daughter. Didn't see enough of her, obviously, but that was like kind of made sense. That's what they were going for. Loved seeing her again for one last time at the end of season 3. Just put her in B tier because, like, you know, we don't have enough of her, but she's not bad by any means. I don't know where to put her in B though. You know what? Just because we don't see like much of her, I'm just gonna put her at the end of B. Next, we have the Broker, who rare character that appears in all 3 seasons and somehow did not really get caught up in any of the Squid Game nonsense. I think the closest he came to dying was when Sae-byeok put a knife to his neck, threatening him. But yeah, again, another character that's just fine, I guess. Probably put him in like C because we just don't have enough of him, but he can go in like high C, I guess. We'll put him like after this guy. Maybe like we'll put him after the Doctor. How about that? I feel like it's a solid ranking. Next we have the baby, Junhee's baby, who won the entire Squid Game. Youngest billionaire of all time. Actually, maybe a millionaire. In Korean money, billionaire, right? So, I mean, it's a baby, but you know what? Just because it won the Squid Games, I'm just gonna have fun and put it at like the top of B tier. Just because it won the Squid Games is the only reason I'm doing this. It was literally a newborn. Oh man, this baby literally changed the entire story too. That was crazy. Next we have my boy Lunchbox. My boy Lunchbox. He fumbled so hard, but because of that amazing name, I'm putting him high on this tier list. My boy Lunchbox, put more respect on Lunchbox's name. Carried. Absolutely carried. I'm gonna look for him now when I rewatch the seasons and eyeball him. Be like, yeah, my boy Lunchbox was a finalist. Put some respect on Lunchbox's name. I'm not gonna like be too stupid about it. I'll put him at the end of A. People are gonna look at that song and constantly be like, what did he do? His name is Lunchbox. That's all you need to know. He has that name. That's one of the badass names I've ever heard in my life. Lunchbox goes in A. 100%. Now these 3, you can kind of tell. I didn't really get clear pictures of them. I'm just gonna kind of go through them just real quick and then we'll call it a wraps. We have this was like one of the partner in crimes to Doksu, a part of his like gang that he created in Squid Games. Yeah, he was another like just weird bad character. I didn't like him at all. I'll actually put him behind the this guy right here, the old lady. Not the old lady, the old man. But yeah, I mean, he was a piece of shit, but like that's all he was, just a piece of shit. He was annoying all the time he was on screen. And then we got these 2 family members of some characters. We have Song-woo's mom. We didn't see a lot of her, obviously, but like, you know, she was a fine character. I'm just gonna put her in B for the sake of like, yeah, she was kind of there. Probably would like slightly put her above Gi-hun's daughter though. I'll do that. And finally, the final character, we have Cybiok's brother, who we saw, he grew up so much, by the way, but we saw at the end of season 3, another character that's just gonna, I guess, like, you know what, hold on, I'm gonna switch something. I'm putting Corporal Kim in, as, I'm not gonna disrespect him that much. Put him above the officer, if it'll let me. There we go. Yeah, I guess that's fine. We'll actually move him up too. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with this ranking, actually. And we'll put him above... We'll put him after Gi-hun's daughter. And yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry I paused, but just overthinking it. But yeah, I think this is my entire tier list. Let me know what your guys' are in the comments if you're even watching this video for so long. But I wanted to put this out there, because why not? Why not? 40 minutes we've been going. Let's do this. And I don't think, let me just say this, everyone on S tier is guaranteed. Everyone on S tier deserves to be there. Let me know what your favorites are. Sung Gi-hun, you absolute legend. Probably one of the best written characters in TV that I've seen in a while. So, yeah, that's my entire Squid Game character tier list. Crazy.